A garden can look healthy one week and completely overrun the next. Tiny holes appear in leaves. Aphids gather by the hundreds. Caterpillars seem to arrive overnight. Most people respond the same way. We spray harder, remove the insects, and try to solve the problem by force. We treat the garden like a battlefield that needs to be sterilized. But in nature, these massive pest explosions are rare. You can walk through a wild meadow or a forest and rarely find a single species destroying everything in sight. Yet in our gardens and farms, these outbreaks happen constantly. The reason is that most pests are specialists. Cabbage moths search for cabbage. Squash bugs target pumpkins. These insects evolved to locate specific plants using refined sensory cues, tracking unique smells, colors, and chemical signals. This is the resource concentration effect. When a garden bed is filled with only one type of crop, it emits a massive unified signal. To a specialist pest, this concentrated uniformity acts as a beacon. It signals an unlimited food supply, making it easier for them to find the plants, stay longer, and reproduce with speed. Uniformity makes a system fragile because it removes the natural barriers that slow down a threat. Whether it's a specialist insect or a spreading pathogen, a monoculture provides an unobstructed path for disaster. This was the core weakness of the Irish potato famine. Because the fields lacked genetic diversity, a single disease could move through the entire country without resistance. To fix this, we have to use diversity as a structural tool to break that sensory beacon. The first layer of defense starts in the airspace directly above the plants. By mixing species, planting onions and herbs next to vegetables, we create an overlapping mess of distinct smells and chemical signals. The specialist pest can no longer isolate its target. The sensory noise becomes too difficult to navigate, and the insect often moves on. Scrambling the chemical airspace limits the intensity of an outbreak before any physical damage even occurs. Moving down into the leaves and stems of the canopy, diversity serves a second purpose. It sustains a population of natural hunters. Beneficial predators like lacewings and parasitic wasps are effective at controlling pests, but they won't stay in an empty space. They require complex habitats to survive. If you allow herbs like dill, cilantro, or fennel to flower, you provide the nectar and pollen these predators need when pests are scarce. These blooms act as feeding stations that keep your biological police force on site. By designing these habitat layers, you stop being the sole provider of pest control and start managing a self-regulating ecosystem. Finally, there is the third layer, the one hidden below the surface in the root zone. Different plant species exude distinct chemical compounds from their roots into the surrounding soil. This varied cocktail attracts a thriving microbiome of fungi and soil organisms. A diverse root system creates the biological activity needed to cycle nutrients more effectively. This underground health directly builds stronger plants above ground. This is critical because insects are often drawn to weakness. Stressed plants emit chemical signals that act as an invitation for pests, while plants supported by healthy soil biology can better maintain their own internal defenses. Below-ground diversity ensures the plant doesn't broadcast its own vulnerability to the world above. Diversity does not mean your garden will be entirely free of insects. Nature doesn't aim for a total lack of bugs. It aims for balance. A garden with no insect activity at all would actually be a warning sign of a collapsing system. Predators, pollinators, and decomposers are all part of the same living network. In a diverse system, damage is scattered and absorbed. It lacks the catastrophic impact seen in monocultures because the complexity of the environment prevents any single species from taking over. The real shift is psychological. We have to stop viewing the garden as a battlefield to be sterilized. Instead, we have to start managing it as a living network of relationships. The steps are simple. Mix plant heights, rotate your crops, allow native plants at the margins, and intermingle flowers with your vegetables. This diversity is a functional, structural choice. It provides the architectural defense that transforms a fragile buffet into a resilient ecosystem.